ערב טוב. These were the two words in Hebrew. Don't worry. Okay, so please don't laugh at me. Hopefully it will be okay. ערב טוב. Hello. Same too. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about Kashrut in Eretz Yisrael, which is pretty complicated, and especially for Olim from Chutz La'aretz. I don't know if over there it's more simple, but over here it's complicated. Now, you know, I've met people in many places that told me the whole issue of kashrut it's only based on two things, which is money and politics. And I don't know if I can say that it's clean from money and politics. I wish I could, but it's not so simple. And I'll tell just one story that a friend of mine told me today, just to understand what we should know and understand. And he spoke about one of the mashgichim. He said he went to a hotel, and there was a mashgiach, an old man, that even lived in the hotel. And when my friend asked him if there is a problem of bishulei goyim, if there are non-Jews that are making the food, the mashgiach said, no, for sure not. Not because they're not goyim, but because he is makpid to come to the kitchen every morning, very early in the morning, I think 6 o'clock or maybe even earlier, and he turns on the oven, and therefore there's no problem, you know, according to the Ramat, and this is the psak of the Ashkenazim. If a Jew lit the fire, lit the fire, okay.
Just like we speak Hebrew with grammar problems.
Okay. If a Jew lit the fire, then it's fine. Then it's fine, whatever the non-Jew will do afterwards. So my friend, which is also a mashgiach by himself, told him, do you know that every time that the goy opens the oven, it turns off, and then when he closes it, it turns on again? So the mashgiach told him, no way. My friend told him, let's go to the kitchen. And they went together, and he saw that, and he was shocked. Now, this is, I think and I hope it's not something that represents the common problems that we have, but it's only one little example of what a mashgiach should deal with, and mimeile what we should deal with when we're going to a hotel or whatever. Now, it's not only a matter of hotels and restaurants, it's also a matter of products. If we buy, let's say, a little candy, how many ingredients do you think there are in this little candy? I don't know what number you're going to throw. What?
So much sugar.
So much sugar.
So much sugar. Everything else is about that.
That could be. The question is, what's the source of the sugar? Okay, but I've heard that there could be even more than 300 ingredients in this little candy. So it's something that we should know and understand. It's very complicated, and therefore it's very important to be professional in this area. Now, there are many questions, halachic questions, in kashrut, as in all over the Torah, and there are questions that are in the Oraita, there are questions that are the Rabbanan, but we should know the special chumrah that Chazal said about kashrut. Yechezkel HaNavi says about himself, he says, Nevela utreifa lo achalti. Lo achalti, nevela utreifa. And the Gemara asks, is this a chumrah? Is this midat chasidut? Can someone eat nevelot utreifot? For sure not. So the Gemara says, what Yechezkel meant to say is that I didn't eat a behema that there was a question on it. Behema shehora b'chacham means that if there was a shayla, if there was any machloket between the poskim about it, I didn't eat it. And what is the reason? Why to be so machmir? In every other area in the Torah, we know there are many machlokot. If it's the Oraita, we're machmir. If it's the Rabbanan, we can be maker. But over here, there's a special kfeida about it. So there is another Gemara in Masechet Chulin. The Gemara says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu eino mevi takala letzadikim. And not only to the tzaddikim themselves, but also lebehemtam shel tzaddikim. The famous story about the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair that didn't eat from tvuah, that they didn't take from it trumot u'maasrot. And the Rishonim asked, how come? The Mishnah says, the Mishnah in Masechet Shabbat talks about Rabbi Ishmael ben Elisha, was Kohen Gadol, and he made a big mistake on Shabbat. He read in front of a candle, and the candle was on its almost its end, and he turned it aside just to see better. And he wrote, Ani Ishmael ben Elisha chatati v'lichshibane bet hamikdash avi chatat shmeina. So we see that tzaddikim can fail, even big tzaddikim in Isurei Deoraita of Shabbat. So the Rishonim say that there is a difference between ma'achalot asurot and other isurim. Gnayu latzadik sheyochal ma'achalot asurot. The food that we put inside, if it's not kosher, it's gnai. It's something that the Torah says, v'nitamtem bam, it causes timtum, and therefore there is a special chumrah about it, and that's why Yechezkel had a special midat chasidut about it, not to eat from a behemah that there was a shayla, and also we should go according to that direction. And again, I'm not talking about isu. Mehadrin is not isu. It's not a matter of kasher and tarif. Mehadrin means that it could be that the product is kosher, but there is a machloket between the poskim about it. For example, let's talk about gelatin. You know, gelatin comes from where? What? From? Bones of? Animals. Which animals? What? Pig, horses, whatever. And there is a big machloket between the poskim if it's kosher or not. We cannot eat horses for sure, but the gelatin comes after it changes its form. It changes its form, and therefore it's called panim chadashot ba'u lekan. So it's a big machloket, and of course a person that would want to eat gelatin for sure it's kosher. But if you're asking if it's mehadrin, no, it's not mehadrin. Okay, another example. You know the whole issue of halak, glat. What is glat? What? Yeah, how do you say it? Lungs? Lungs. Yeah. So there is a halacha that one of the trefot, one of the things that could cause the behemah to be treifa, and there you cannot eat it, is if there's a hole in the lung, and there is a way to check it. I don't know if you saw, the mashgiach puts his hand inside and he checks if it's smooth and there is no hole or something like that. And the question is, what happens if he finds something, he feels something, and he just does like that with his fingers, and he smashes it and it disappears. The question is there a problem or not? Do we have to be choshesh that maybe there was a hole? The Shulchan Aruch says yes, it's a problem. The Ramat says that if there is a person that does it, ein limchot beyado, yesh lo al mi lismoch. So it's a big machloket. The Ramat says it's mutter, it's kosher. But is it glat? Is it chalak? No, it's not. So is there a place to be machmir and not to eat it? For sure, yes. Even though the Ramat says it's okay, because we're talking about food, and we have to be machmir if we can. Now, we should understand that there is a big difference between here in Eretz Yisrael and in Chutz La'aretz. In Chutz La'aretz, there are the how do you say variety? Variety. Okay, of the things you can buy is much smaller than the variety over here. Let's talk about milk. Okay, milk in many places, even in the States. To get Chalav Yisrael, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. And as you all know, there is a famous heter of Moshe Feinstein Zatzal about the milk in the States, and in every state that there is law that you cannot mix milk from behemot tmeot. So it's mutter. But you should know, first of all, Moshe Feinstein is not the only posek about it. There is the Chelkat Yaakov of Yaakov Braish that argues with him, and he says, no, it's a gzeira and that's it, and you have to be makpid on it. And even Moshe Feinstein himself says that this heter is only le'anashim she'einan bnei Torah, which means, okay, the most of the people, okay, I cannot be machmir too much, but other people should be makpid on it. This is what he says. So, just curious, how many of you were makpid in the States on Chalav Yisrael? None. Wow.
Ask now.
Huh?
What about that?
That's the second question. That's the second question. How many of you are makpid on Chalav Yisrael now, over here? Huh? Kind of.
When I go to America.
Okay. So now we understand. There is a very big and justified reason why not to be makpid over there on Chalav Yisrael. I understand. Even though it's important, the person that can be makpid, for sure it's the best thing to do. But I understand, in the States, in other places in Chutz La'aretz, it's hard. But over here in Israel, I don't see any reason why not to be makpid on it. Yeah, I know. We used to. That's right. I know. But over here, you have Chalav Yisrael. I'll be even more.
There's no peanut butter chocolate combination here.
What?
They don't make any chocolate.
Yeah, that was the next issue I was going to face.
Here,
Milk powder. What, man?
milk Chalav Yisrael is just the milk that has a mahadran hechsher.
Well, again?
Chalav Yisrael here is just
Yeah.
because it has a mahadran hechsher. It doesn't say.
No, even Chalav Yisrael that doesn't have mehadrin on it. It's Chalav Yisrael.
Because
It's still Chalav Yisrael. Yeah. The mehadrin and non-mehadrin is not only connected to Chalav Yisrael or Chanav Nochi. Okay, it's connected also, for example, years ago, I asked of Simcha Cohen Cook. He was the chief rabbi of Rehovot. I asked him, I saw milk from Pnuva in Rehovot that there wasn't written on it mehadrin. So I called him and asked him why. He told me because they don't want to tell us when they're milking the milk, if it's on Shabbat or not. So I asked him, okay, so it's a problem, so it's not kosher. He said, no, because we have 7 days, and Shabbat is only one of the 7. So halachically, we're going according to the Rov. So it's kosher, but it's not mehadrin. Okay, so even if you see Chalav Yisrael Regil, then still it's Chalav Yisrael. But I don't see any reason why to buy Chalav Nochi. Now, Avkat Chalav Nochi, milk powder. I know Hershey's is Avkat Chalav Nochi. Okay? Say them. And it's easier. For sure, it's easier from Chalav Nochi. That's for sure. Okay, but again, a person asked Rabbi Yaakov Ariel, he was the chief rabbi of Ramat Gan. He asked him, is it a problem to eat Avkat Chalav Nochi? Ariel told him, listen, if you were in the States, I understand, but if you're here, what's the reason? Okay, so I don't know. He didn't eat Hershey's. Maybe if he would understand that it's a different world. It's Mein Olam Haba, whatever. I don't know. I'm not talking about Isu. I'm talking about a direction of how do you say megama? Huh? Direction? Huh? Level? Maybe level. Level of mehadrin. Okay, so it's not on whatever you can be sensitive to the mehadrin. Be sensitive. Now the basic hechsher here in Eretz Yisrael is given by the Rabbanut HaRashit LeYisrael. And the Rabbanut HaRashit LeYisrael, they have, according to the law, they have the right to give hechsher. There are other hechsherim. Some of the badatzim have also the ability to give hechsher according to the law, but you should know that every hechsher has to be with the hechsher of Rabbanut HaRashit LeYisrael. And therefore, and I know there are stores over here that don't have the hechsher of the Rabbanut HaRashit, only other hechsherim. First of all, you should know that according to the law, it's not legal. It's not legal, first of all. Second of all, there's a problem also, a problem of kashrut, because the Rabbanut HaRashit has the force to make people be makpid on kashrut. Because if they are giving hechsher, supervision on a place, and they see that they don't follow their instructions, they can sue them, they can even send them to jail, whatever. But if you have a private hechsher, they don't have the ability to force it. And that's why, in many times, they use the mashgichim of the Rabbanut to force what they need to force. So that's why it's very, very important to be makpid. Whenever you go to a store, first of all, look carefully. You have to see Teudat Hechsher. Without it, you don't get inside. You do get inside to see if there is Teudat Hechsher. But if that, you just go out. And it has to be valid. And it has to be, first of all, of the Rabbanut HaRashit LeYisrael. afterwards, they can also have other Tudot of Badatz, whoever they want. But first of all, it has to have Tudat Kashrut from the Rabbanut HaRashit.
Does this apply to like a Kollel in Tel Aviv when you're buying a soda?
What?
If you're going to like a Kollel in Tel Aviv or
Yeah,
you're going
yeah.
to a gas station and buying
Yeah,
soda.
well, okay. Well, if we're talking about only buying a product, a closed product, then basically it's fine because you have the hechsher on it. Okay? But I have to emphasize, and I think it's again a difference between here in Eretz Yisrael and in Chutz La'aretz. If you want to buy a bottle of soda, and you see a restaurant, and the restaurant is not kosher, would you get inside just to buy this bottle of soda? Yeah? Okay. In Chutz La'aretz, what?
Well, in the States, with Marasayan, whether or not.
Exactly. In the States, in Chutz La'aretz, it's much more simple because everyone understands and knows that the restaurants that you have probably are not kosher, and you as a Jew, you will buy only closed things. But over here in Eretz Yisrael, when a religious Jew comes into a restaurant without a hechsher, it's a problem. It's a problem not only of Marit Ain. Also, other people will say, well, he went inside, so why not? Therefore, we have to be makpid. Okay, so if it's only a store of products, I don't see a problem. Basically, if it's closed, but if it's a restaurant or something like that, don't get inside unless you see that the place is kosher. Yeah.
So, if the law legally, you have to have a Rabbanut Hechsher.
Yeah.
And why is and the Mahadran Hechshers they're really supposed to be on top of that because you want a special Hechsher.
Yeah.
If you're a kashrut organization, if you're a Mahadran organization, why shouldn't the first thing you do before you go to, why is it left to the people? Why isn't it that a Mahadran Hechsher has to say, I'm sorry, I want to give you Mahadran Hechsher, but not until you get Rabbanut? Why isn't it the responsibility of the kashrut, of the
Badatzim
organizations to make sure that it's done legally?
Yeah. Okay. Here we're getting to the money part. Of course, you're right. This is what should be. But what can we do? What can we do? Now, the basic hechsher is what we called kashrut regila. Have you seen that on Teudot Hechsher? Kashrut regila. Kashrut regila means regular kashrut. And it means that it's kosher. Basically, it's kosher. If the mashgiach does his work, it's kosher. Now, because the Rabbanut HaRashit L'Yisrael has to give hechsher to every place that wants it, this is their obligation. And there are, Baruch Hashem, many people in Eretz Yisrael, and not all of them want mehadrin. So the Rabbanut brought this basic level of kashrut, and even things that are in machloket. For example, the gelatin, if the products will be with gelatin, the Rabbanut will give kashrut regila, because it's fine. There are big poskim of Tzvi Pesach Farms that says that gelatin is fine, so okay, it's fine. Or, for example, we spoke about bishulei goyim. The Ramat says that only what we need is that the Jew would light the fire. But the Shulchan Aruch says it's not enough. It's not enough. You have to be part of the process of making the food. So, basic kashrut regila, will give a hechsher. But if you would want kashrut mehadrin, they would tell you, no, you have to be makpid that a Jew will be part of the process. Okay, for example, there are many other examples. I don't think we have all the time, but there are many differences between between basic kashrut regila, and kashrut mehadrin. But you should know that basically kashrut regila is also kosher. It's also kosher, but just to be makpid, if you can, be makpid more than that. About the OU. It's a very good hechsher. Very good hechsher. That's for sure. And there are great Talmidei Chachamim that are responsible on this hechsher. But you should know that OU basically is a hechsher in Chutz La'aretz. And because it's a hechsher in Chutz La'aretz, they're adjusting themselves to the conditions that they have over there. For example, Chalav Nochri. Okay, the OU would give a hechsher, and the Rabbanut HaRashit won't give hechsher. Or for example, a few years ago, I don't remember how many years, I stood here and spoke about Chadash. Does someone remember? There was a big storm afterwards. People were shocked. Chadash is an Isur Deoraita. According to many Rishonim, the Chafetz Chaim and Mishnah talks about it a lot. And in many places in Chutz La'aretz, they're not makpid on Chadash. They're not makpid. But over here in Eretz Yisrael, the Rabbanut HaRashit is makpid on Chadash. And we have to be makpid. We have to be makpid. Again, in Chutz La'aretz, you don't have such a big variety of things. But over here you have. It's much more simple. So therefore, I'm not saying that something that written on it on OU is non-kosher. For sure not. But I'm saying if we're trying to be makpid on mehadrin, just check once again if it's mehadrin or not, because the hechsher of OU doesn't say necessarily that it's also mehadrin.
The Rabbanut wouldn't give a hechsher on that. Wouldn't you consider it not kosher here?
What?
If the Rabbanut here wouldn't give a hechsher on an OU product,
Mm-hmm.
that has potentially chadash.
I can tell you what told me one of the people that are in charge in the Rabbanut HaRashit. He told me on every product that comes from Chutz La'aretz, check that written down there Be'ishur HaRabbanut HaRashit LeYisrael.
I agree. I'm saying if someone's parents brings them cookies from America.
If he brings it from America, so okay, what can I do?
I'm saying should we consider it kosher or not?
If there is OU, yeah, for sure, it's kosher.
It's potentially chadash though.
What?
It's potentially chadash. They don't check if it's chadash or not.
If they're not, I don't know exactly. Do they makpid on chadash over there? No. Okay. So let's say if it's more than 5 months after Pesach, then probably there's no problem. If it's less than 5 months, if there is chashash, I won't eat it. Okay?
What says Yishur Rabbanut HaRashit and the OU, according to the Rabbanut, it's chada. It's beseder.
Yeah, it's beseder. Then there's no chashash of chadash. Yeah.
But it's obviously not chalav.
What?
It's avat chalav.
It's not?
It's still made out of chalav.
Yeah, נכון. Okay. So until now we spoke most of the time about products. I want to talk a little bit about restaurants and hotels. And over there, it's much more complicated because we're not talking only about products. There is a whole kitchen, and it could be even 2 kitchens and 3 restaurants and whatever you can imagine. And we're talking about non-Jews that are going over there, and probably even mixing chalavi and besari and vice versa, whatever. So that's why the first step is, as we said before, check that there is Teudat Hechsher. Without Teudat Hechsher, you don't eat there. There was a story about a person that came to a falafel store, and he asked the person there if it's kosher. He told him, for sure. You don't see the picture of the Baba Sali? So this person told him, if the Baba Sali was sitting here and eating this falafel, and I would see your picture there, I would eat. Okay, so we have to have Teudat Hechsher. And as I said, it should be valid. Now, there is, if you'll see in Rabbanut Yerushalayim, for example, you would see Teudat Hechsher Regila, Teudat Hechsher LeMehadrin. There's also Teudat Kashrut Mehuderet. No, not anymore.
Mahadrin.
Only Mehadrin.
Mahadrin, Rabbanut Yerushalayim. Yesh Mahadrin, Yerushalayim, and now there's Hamuderet switched to Mahadrin Rabbanut Harashit.
Okay. So there is Kashrut Regila, there is Mehadrin, and in each Teuda you will see the name of the Mashgiach. The name of the Mashgiach and his cell phone number. And actually this is the most important part in the Teuda. Because you have to talk to the Mashgiach and ask him certain questions, I'll say it in a minute, and understand what's going on there. Now, if we would live in a small town with only one restaurant and one store of falafel, and we would know one each other, then it would be much easier. But because Baruch Hashem, we're in Medinat Yisrael, where we have many Jews, many people, many restaurants and hotels, you can never know until you talk to the Mashgiach. And you would find out that there are many surprises for each direction. For example, you can talk to a Mashgiach in Kashrut Mehadrin and ask him a few questions, and then you understand that the Mashgiach doesn't really know what's going on there. I wouldn't go to such a place if the Mashgiach doesn't know who's working there, when does he come there, what does he do there. And on the other hand, you could call a Mashgiach in a hotel or a restaurant with Kashrut Regila, and you will talk to him and ask him the questions, and you understand that it's almost perfect. So maybe there is one cheese you cannot eat or something like that, but otherwise it's great. So each time you go to a hotel or a restaurant, talk to the Mashgiach. I know many of them do not know English. I know. There's a service. I don't know if I can say I'm offering. I'm not. But if you don't have a choice, please, only if you don't have a choice, give me the number of this Mashgiach and I'll talk to him. Okay? But please try to do it by yourself. I'll go through a list of some questions, and I hope it would help. Yeah.
Do they have a concept here of having a mashgiach tamidi in the restaurant, or not really?
I think there are certain restaurants that they have it.
But it's
Not so many.
Not a standard practice.
No. Even Mehadrin doesn't have necessarily mashgiach for all day. It's only for a few hours, more than in Kashrut Regila, but not all day. Okay, so let's go through the questions. If we're talking about a Besari place, first of all, ask the Mashgiach, the chicken, the meat, where did it come from? What is the kashrut, the level of kashrut of the chicken or the meat? Is it chalak, glat, or not? Is it off mehadrin or not? If it's off mehadrin, ask him to tell you where did it come from. Don't worry, they know. What? Mama? Yeah. For example, there is the ofot of Rav Tzfania Drori or Rav Ariel. So the mashgiach. If one more thing, you should say as an introduction to the mashgiach. Listen, I want to eat mehadrin, but I'm talking about halachically mehadrin, not label. Which means, I asked once a mashgiach. I told him, is this place mehadrin? He told me, no, it's rabbanut. What can you do with it? So I told him, no, I'm not talking about labels. I'm asking you halachically. Is the level of kashrut over here, is level of mehadrin? I saw the light in his eyes. He told me, yeah, so this you can eat, that you can eat, and suddenly everything was opened. Okay, so tell the mashgiach this introduction. I want to eat mehadrin, halachically mehadrin. And then, first of all, the chicken, the meat. Where did it come from? What's the level of kashrut that it comes from? Is it mehadrin? Is it glat or not? If it's chalavi, about the cheese, the milk. Again, where did it come from? Is it mehadrin or not mehadrin? Baruch Hashem, here in Eretz Yisrael, many of the cheese are mehadrin. So basically, there should not be a problem in most of the cheese. Only a few of them are problematic. But if you go to a hotel, then the mashgiach will tell you, tomorrow morning, when you're going to the dining room, I'll be able to meet you and to show you which cheese is mehadrin and which is not. Yeah.
When you ask where the meat comes from and they give you answers, how do you know which one is good, which one is not? Based on this rabbi.
No, because you're asking him, the chicken is mehadrin?
And they say yes.
Yeah, he will say, yeah, the off is mehadrin Yerushalayim, for example. Okay, so you understand, it's mehadrin.
He's asking how do we know which mehadrin is on?
Which mehadrin?
Yeah.
Hopefully when he says it's mehadrin, it's fine.
Is there chicken that's not mehadrin?
Huh?
There's chicken that's not mehadrin?
There could be.
That's not Rabach.
Yeah, Rabach is mehadrin. Rav Rabach is mehadrin.
Yeah, I'm saying about...
Yeah, most of the chicken is mehadrin. And one more thing. Even if you think that it's so simple and for sure it's good, ask him. Ask him because if he sees a person that asks, he understands it's important for you. Okay, and then after one or two or three questions, he would understand that you're a serious person, and he'll tell you, I understand you're a machpid, okay, so this you can eat, that you cannot eat. Okay? Now, how do you say in English, yirakot alim? Yirakot alim? Lettuce and what?
Leafy vegetables.
Leafy? Okay. Vegetables. Whatever you say. Here in Eretz Yisrael, there is a very big problem with bugs. And I know in the States or in other places on Earth, the climate is different. And for example, corn or strawberries are much more simple because you just don't have the bugs. But here in Eretz Yisrael, even the bugs made aliyah, and therefore we should be very careful about it. And you should know that it's not only just pouring it and that's it, and it's clean and fine. There are tunnels. How do you say zvuv? Flies. There are tunnels, flies, that they dig a tunnel inside the leaf, and there's no way to take them out unless you cut it. And you should know that in lettuce, for example, it's very common to find them. And that's why at the beginning it was only a request of kashrut mehadrin, but for I think maybe 10 years or even more, it's a basic thing that a basic request, even for kashrut regila, that restaurants will use only chasalat or vegetables that are supervised from bugs. But when you're going to buy such a lettuce, or for example in Osherad, in Beit Shemesh, they have also lettuce that is not supervised. And even if it's written on it kosher, it doesn't mean kosher from bugs. It means that it's kosher in regards to Tumot U'Maasrot. There's no problem of tevel or other problems, but the bugs are also kosher with the lettuce. So just you have to be makpid to buy lettuce or whatever, broccoli or all this stuff. Just make sure to buy from supervised gidulim, whatever, that don't have this problem. And you have also to remember, even a special lettuce, it doesn't mean that there are no bugs on it. It means that if they will see that there are many bugs, or if they will see that there are tunnels flies, they would not sell it. But if there are not, even if there is a certain percentage of bugs on the lettuce, they will sell it. And that's why they write on the bag that you have to soak it in water and soap, and afterwards to pour it under water. And you have to do it because this is the only way to get rid of from all the bugs. Things? What? Mm-hmm.
It's a bigger problem. So I used to be a mashgiach in London for the London Beit.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the caterers brought in tinned asparagus. He said, it's tinned asparagus. I said, I have to check it. It was even worse. It was impossible to clean. It was infested with flies.
Wow. Yeah. That's right. So you have to have a very good hechsher on it.
So
Okay.
if you have lettuce which is marked mahadrin, that should be okay, or we have
Again, on lettuce and broccoli or asparagus, whatever, it has to be written on the bag. Yerek mefukach mecharakim. Okay? It has to be supervised from bugs. Okay. So this is the second question I would ask the mashgiach. Okay? About these vegetables. Where did they come from? Is it supervised? Who is cleaning them? Do you clean them? Do you soak it with water and soap? Okay, the mashgiach has to do it. Third question. Kitniyot, how do you say beans? What?
Like you.
Kitniyot. You know what is kitniyot, right? Kitniyot, you know. Yeah.
But we can't eat on Pesach.
Okay. Okay. Someone has to check it. Someone has to check it. This is the responsibility of the mashgiach. Ask him, who is the person that makes the breira? Who is checking it? Or do you check it? Do you have someone that is checking and you supervise on him? Fifth question, Bishulei Goim. Even though we are going according to the Ramat, and for us it's much easier, as I said before, but ask, because if you want to see that the mashgiach knows what he talks about, so he should give you an answer about this question. Or he should say that there is a fire all the time, or he should say that there are no goyim over there, or he should say, I'm helping in every process, whatever he would say. But you would be able to understand if the mashgiach knows his work and does it. Yeah. Oh, I thought you wanted. Number 6. Yeah.
In terms of chazaka, right? Every time I go to Ramon, like every year I should pull up Ramon, every year. Or is it for people go to it's okay. I can't even Ashdod, I'm not familiar, so I might do that, but
No, the first time you go to a restaurant, talk to the mashgiach.
Even if Rabbi Daniel Helstein did that?
Huh?
Even if Rabbi Daniel Helstein?
Talk to him.
I don't need a milk restaurant. Even if the kashrut is something that we generally trust, it's machbud, it's whatever.
Yeah.
You should still speak.
Yeah.
Kosher.
Still. Yeah.
Is there a distinction between the Ramat and the Mahadran guidelines with respect to Trumot and Maasrot?
Trumot and Maasrot? No, I don't think so. No. But there is in regards to other issues we spoke about, and the next issue I want to talk about. Yeah.
If you can't trust the Suda, then we have to ask the Mashgiach. How can you trust the Mashgiach to give you the right answer? If he's supposed to be washing the vegetables, he's not going to tell you that he's not doing his job. So then how can you trust him that he's doing what he says?
No. I'll tell you what. You should understand. A mashgiach has to have parnasa also, and probably you realize that the amount of money that he gets from one restaurant is not enough to have parnasa for a whole month. So therefore, he has to have a few more restaurants. So the fact that you have this teudah, it means that he has the responsibility on it. But do you know exactly how does he do it? Does he know his work?
But he's going to tell you that he's doing the right thing.
What?
And if we're not trusting the
No. If you would ask him all these questions, it's questions about information. Does he know exactly where does it come from? All the ingredients. Do you know where does it come from? Do you supervise to tell? Now, if the mashgiach is a liar, then it's a dead end. We cannot do anything without it, and he has the na'amanut. He is the mashgiach.
The meat is supposed to be mahadran because that's what the Tudah says. So if he's going to tell you that it's not mahadran, and he's saying I'm not doing my job. I'm saying here the Tudah is mahadran Tudah. So the meat should be mahadran. So if he's going to tell me no, it's not mahadran, then he's basically admitting he's not doing his job. So then
Okay, so probably, Yaakov, probably, if the Tudah is mehadrin, probably the Mashgiach will tell you that the ingredients are mehadrin. That's right. But what about all the other questions? Okay, and I want just to finish the list. Okay, the question number 6, and I saw it's a very sensitive question, is how many hours are you there? I asked one of the mashgichim in Tel Aviv, and he just lost it. I don't know. He just started yelling at me, and for me it was a red light. Because if you're doing your job and you're responsible enough, then you should tell me I'm this and that hours, and I think it's enough because I know exactly what's going on there. Okay, and this is, for example, a question of something. This is an information you won't get from the Teudah. Okay, you should ask the mashgiach. And one more question that I like asking the mashgichim, and it's just to see if they know what they're talking about or not, is what about Tvilat Kilim? Do you tovel the dishes of the restaurant or not? Now, there is a big machloket about it. The Beit Yosef says that you don't have to be matbil such kelim because they are considered as klei schora, which means klei schora is it's not dishes for food. The owner of the restaurant is not interested in food at all. He's interested in money. But the way to make money is through dishes with food. And therefore there's no obligation to be matbil these dishes because these are klei schora. Now it's a big machloket if we can rely on this heter or not. Hershel Mehadrin won't rely on this svara. but kashrut regila will rely on it. So I'm asking the mashgiach, what do you do with the kelim? So if he tells me I'm relying on the heter of klei schora, fine. He knows his job. But if he will start telling me things that are not connected, then I would understand that he doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Okay? Places that are mehadrin will solve the problem in other ways, like selling it to a goy, or making partnership with him, or whatever. There are ways, or being told them. Amazing. Okay, so these are a few questions that you can ask the mashgiach and understand from him if he knows his job and what's going on in the restaurant or in the hotel. Otherwise, I won't rely only on the teuda. Okay? Now, all we spoke about is when we're going to a business place, or a place which is a business, okay, or a restaurant or hotel. When we are invited to a house of a friend, then for sure many of the things that we spoke about are not relevant. Here we're coming to what Chazal said, Ed echad ne'eman be'isurim. If this person is a Jew person and basically he's makpid on ilchot kashrut, then he's ne'eman. He's ne'eman. The reason why Ed echad ne'eman be'isurim says the Yerushalmi, the Talmud Yerushalmi, because otherwise there won't be any option to eat one at his friend's house. This is the exact reason why Ed echad ne'eman be'isurim. And also, we should be very, very makpid. We spoke at the beginning about trying to be mehadrin in kashrut. I think being makpid on isurei deoraita of halbanat panim, of hurting the feelings of other person, I think it's not less chamur than being makpid on mehadrin. And therefore, when you're invited to your friend's house, then even if you're a makpid on mehadrin, and to your house you bring only mehadrin products, in his house you should be mehader in ben adam lachavero and eat there, okay, and eat there, and not be pogea. I just want to finish. If there are many. More questions you can ask for sure. Here in our community, we are dividing between private events and events for the community. Private events, which means if a family does simcha and they want to invite their friends, the community. Whatever they want, whatever they rely on, basically it's fine. It's like inviting him to your house. And I want to emphasize, as far as I've heard, there are some caterers that over here in Beit Shemesh, in Ramat Beit Shemesh, from people that don't have Teudat Hechsher. They don't have Teudat Hechsher. And people are relying on it because what do you mean? My friend bought and her friend bought, but it's not right. Halachically it's not right. Because again, we're talking about a business. We're talking about a business, and in a business we're not saying Ed echad ne'eman be'isurim. You have to have hashgacha from whoever, but it has to be with hashgacha, with mashgiach. Kal v'chomer, when we're talking about events to the community, because it's something public to the community, it has to be, first of all, of course, with hashgacha, with teudat hechsher, not without it, and second of all, the level of kashrut in our community is mehadrin. This is the level of kashrut. Okay, so even I don't want people to be insulted. What do you mean? I eat in my house OU and I want to make kiddush in the community, and suddenly people are telling me, no, you cannot bring OU product. What's wrong with them? No, I'm not saying they're wrong. Nothing is wrong. But again, as I said before, the OU is a hechsher of chutz la'aretz, and they're adjusting themselves to what they have over there. Over here, we're trying to be in the level of mehadrin, and that's the only reason. So,
but if it says OU, Beit Yisrael, Yisrael, you could bring that?
Still, it doesn't say it's mehadrin. Okay, then the problem of chadash doesn't exist. Okay, but it doesn't say it's mehadrin. If you want a mehadrin product, just buy a product that written on it mehadrin or one of the baratzim, whatever.
But in a restaurant, if it's regil, but the mashgiach answers all the questions and the meat is glad, then that's okay.
What do you mean?
If the hechsher on sometimes the restaurant will have not mehadrin.
Mm-hmm.
But if you speak to the mashgiach and he says yes, but all the meat is from here, and it's halak.
Mm-hmm.
And you can eat. And if you answer all the, so sometimes they just don't want a 100 hechsher, but they still meets the level.
Yeah, nachon. Then you can ask him. And he will tell you. He will tell you. Listen, only this product is not mehadrin, but all the other stuff is mehadrin, and there's no problem. A few weeks ago, we were in a hotel in Tel Aviv, and it was in kashrut regila, and I called the mashgiach only for breakfast, and I asked him. I told him, I'm eating mehadrin. Tell me which products are mehadrin. So he told me, let's meet tomorrow morning, and I'll show you. And we just went through whatever was there. And he told me, this is mehadrin, this is mehadrin, this one, I don't know exactly what they do with it, so don't eat it. And everything was fine. Okay? Just remember one thing from this whole meeting. Talk to the mashgiach. Ask him the questions, and Be'ezrat Hashem, hopefully we won't be nichshal be'isurim.
I assume if everyone talked to the mashgiach, he wouldn't have time to do any hashgacha.
I assume this is not the problem.